Rabbi zidni ilma. If we make dua and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us in knowledge, we can possibly live and not be amongst those that the last days come upon them. It's going to be a great fitna and a great trial. And this is the only thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran for you to ask an increase of, to increase you in knowledge. And we notice that he said that in the last days, those that have knowledge will no longer be there. So we ask Allah to increase us in knowledge, and we hope to follow the first order of Allah, which is to read. And read the Quran so that we would have more knowledge. As we state every time when we give this khutbah al-hajj, the best speech is what? Come on guys, what's the best speech? Speech of Allah, the Quran. So that's the thing that we should be reading. One of the other signs of the last day is that someone trying to hold fast to his religion, to his deen, is going to be like someone holding hot coals in his hand. Okay, it's going to be very difficult for him to remain steadfast on his deen. And we see that as a sign that's right now. Who can do anything without having a debit card or a credit card, or whenever you pay any bill, there's some riba attached to it. You always have to have a picture ID when pictures are haram. You can't even turn on your phone without hearing music, right? Or your computer. So it's very difficult to hold fast and hold on to your religion. Then it goes on to tell us many of the leaders, there will be many leaders, but very, very few trustworthy people. Do I need to say more? Bastards will increase. That means zina. There will be children from zina. And there will be lots of bastards. And we see that. We see that especially in the West. The chiefs of tribes and nations will be hypocrites, the most vile and very immoral. There will be chiefs and nobles of the markets, and all the people in the marketplace will be sinners. There will be many police. Do we see that today? The high offices will go to the undeserving. Young boys will rule. Trade and commerce will spread very much. It will spread to such extent that a woman will help her husband in trading, in the business. I just said my wife helps me in business. So these are things, it's not uncommon. Women work nowadays. Take that out your mouth. And initially, we say this all the time, the ulama never stopped to take a chance to advise us on our manners. They used to tell us, you're in more need of lessons in good manners than you are in needs of lessons in fiqh. Always, if you get the opportunity, correct the good manners. Because if the people, when they lose their manners, that's when you see them being very, very corrupt and very ugly in their habits. Okay? So you guys, you grown men, there's a thing called abatha, fi'lun abath, where somebody is just, touching for no reason, scratching and sticking his hair in his mouth or taking his clothes and chewing on it. You're not you're not children. A child, he's tasting it. What is this? Okay. What is that? Your babies do that, right? You're not babies. You guys, if you're over 15, you're a grown man. You're a grown young lady. If you have your menses, you shouldn't act like little children and not have any control. Be so compulsive, so unconscious of your movements. You should sit up like young people. You should say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, when you deal with your adults, and not feel like you're, it's like, I shouldn't say that. You ask somebody, hey, young man, what time is it? Huh? What? It's ignorant. Yeah. That's very poor mannered. It's very poor mannered. You come to listen to a lecture. That's not how you sit. That's not how you sit. That's not very attentive. That's not respectful at all. You have to have good manners. You have to have good manners. This shows your true character. Okay? People will cheat when they're given measure, meaning that when you measure out, instead of it being 1 pound, they give you a little less. That's a mutaffif. He's always stealing a little bit from you, just a little bit, taking a couple of cents. This type of thief. The habit and custom, dig this, the habit and custom of writing will increase, but education would only be to further worldly gains. Let me say that again. The habit and custom of writing would increase. Hold on. Oh, y'all didn't get it. Yeah. What do people do all the time? You didn't get it. I pulled out my phone. You see that the people do this all the time. Hold on, and they're writing. What are they doing? They're texting. They're writing all the time, to the point that it's rude. But is education happening for the purpose of their deen? Not really. Most people are getting their education so they can get some worldly gain. And so we see this one happening all over. The Quran would be turned into a tool for songs and music. We see this on YouTube a lot of times. You know, sometimes now when some of the young people, they mean good, but they want to make a movie, so they put the Quran in there and they have the guys writing. So they made the Quran like a nasheed for the mujahideen, or some particular point in a commercial or infomercial or something like that, as opposed to like the dhikr. There's a way you have to do it that makes it good, and there's a way that you can do it that make it bad, and Allah knows best. There will be an abundance of those who recite the Quran in a singing way in order to show off, gain fame, and earn wealth. There will be a scarcity. There will be very few people that know fiqh. Very few fuqaha. I would dare say, if we look at this whole room right here, how many people have studied one whole book of fiqh and can explain each chapter? And as young men, young people, or especially the teenagers who swear they want their rights, how many of you know your rights or know what the law is for you in every aspect of your life, just based on a basic fiqh book? Most people don't get past zakat before they toss the book in the corner. They do tahara or iman, tahara, salah, sawm and Ramadan. And then when they want to make umrah hajj, they read a couple of things about umrah hajj, and then they go say, I'm going to figure it out when I get there. I'll pay the guy to guide me. Nothing else is read. The fiqh of buying or renting or any of this stuff is unknown to the normal youngster. And the older people don't review. Because it used to be the habit to learn this stuff when we were younger, so at least they were exposed to it. But the revising of it, finding out what was actually from the sunnah and what was wrong, or they didn't have it quite so right, we don't do that. So this is right here, a scarcity of people who know the fiqh. The ulama and